Welcome, Star Wars fans, collectors, and YouTubers to the Hyperspace Vault. Today we're going to be looking at the Star Wars Vintage Collection Rogue One Imperial Combat Assault Tank and Imperial Assault Tank Driver from the Vintage Collection. So, really special video today, really cool stuff, and I know this item was released last year. It's been out a while. But it never really showed up in retail stores. Like, we never saw this locally in any stores. I think Target had it for a little while, but we never saw it in Target or at Walmart. So
yeah, it was like we were hunting for it one time, and we looked in the marketplace, Kroger's, we looked in Walmart's, we looked in Target's. We could never even take a look at this without searching it up online. We never could find it in stores. Never.
Yeah, and last fall, Amazon had a crazy price on this thing for like $29, I think. I think it's went back up since then, but not all the way to like when it first came out. I think it first came out was like $70, $80, and I think now, last time I looked at it, it was like $50, I think. Between $40 and $50 is what it hovered, because Amazon, you know, every time you look at it, the price is a little different. So
that is a bunch of money for just a toy like this.
Yeah, but let's get into the review of the Assault Tank. Hasbro did an awesome job on this with the paint app and the details on this. Really like this piece. I mean, you got these cargo containers on the back.
One of them opens up, by the way.
Yeah, one of them opens up.
Yeah, but we'll get into that later.
So you can take all three of them off. All three are removable. So you have three removable cargo containers, and then the bottom opens up.
Yeah, it's like
and you
two
can
little
make it
flaps.
You can make it into a troop transport in here.
Yeah, there's like pegs for like the peg holes on the bottom of the figures.
So that's really nice.
And with the troop transport, you can just set these flaps on the side like this. I think that's how it's supposed to go if you want it to be a troop transport. You just set the flaps on the side like that. But if you want to put the crates back in, that can also be kind of like, if you want to be creative, that can, like, under there could be like a prison place. Like, you could like put these flaps on top of there, and then like there could be a rebel prisoner in there, something like that. But
yeah, that's a cool idea.
Now into the fronts of the
Let's take a look at the front.
Tank.
You got two opening hatches, one for the commander, and then one for the pilot.
The pilot one is kind of hard to open from the outside, but you can just open up this.
Yeah, the whole
giant like
door opens up, and then it reveals the
interior of the tank. And by looks of this is awesome. There's even stickers down there.
Yeah, look how detailed that is. I mean, they did an awesome job with all this piping inside of there and equipment and controls.
That's awesome.
Let me try to get a different angle on this.
And there's like all kinds of other flaps too that you can open. Like, oh, look at that, like wiring and the stickers. That kind of looks like a Nintendo controller. It kind of does. But there's another flap up here that you can open. Oh, that flew off.
Yeah, it kind of gives you some details of the power plant that powers the tank.
Yeah, and I like that gold piece that they painted on there, and then just simple with the outside of the flap, but when you turn it onto the inside, there's so much detail. Even on the inside, there's like texture, there's paint, there's like a little thing right there. I don't know what it is. I think it's it's a flap to put.
And same with the driver compartment on the inside.
That's really cool. I like those fans right there.
So that's really
vents
cool.
and stuff. Yeah. It has, like, everything about this has, like, texture on it that just makes it awesome. Like, if all this stuff was just, like, planted in there, that would just, I wouldn't like that. I like that how they added texture to it.
Okay, in the front you have two main blaster turrets that rotate up and down, and then in the front here in the middle you have a blaster that rotates side to side, and then on the front you have these like ramming bumpers here, and you can see how it has different paint texture on that, paint app on that, which makes it look really cool. And then on the front here, and then going down the side you have a lot of different paint apps here,
details and stuff. I don't know what this is, kind of like a power stick or something like that.
And then underneath you have some, you can see the paint apps where like scrape marks and stuff.
Yeah,
it's really
like,
good.
Yeah,
and then you have the tracks that work, and they are kind of like rubberized, and they sit in onto the track wheels very nicely and roll very well.
Yeah, in the Star Wars Rogue One guide, they actually call it a hover tank, and a lot of people do call it a hover tank, but it's actually not a hover tank because it has tracks and treads on it, so it's actually just a normal assault tank.
Yeah, there's a big controversy on that, whether it was a hover tank or not. Early on, yeah, all the stuff, yeah, even the Black Series figure, I believe, says hover tank pilot or commander, the figure that
hover
they made.
Tank driver, driver something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely says hover tank on it, but it's definitely an assault tank, not a hover tank, because a hover tank would hover off the ground, but an assault tank would have like tracks and like a real life military tank. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of controversy on this vehicle. So that a lot of people are saying, well, this doesn't look like something that belongs in the Star Wars universe with the treads on it and the way it, you know, rides on the ground like a tank from Earth. But I kind of disagree with that. I think it does look like it's something the Imperials would use, you know, to safely haul cargo around on different planets. Okay, moving on. Alex is going to take a look at the Kyber Crystal cargo containers.
So, we're going to start out with these two. They're pretty much identical. I mean, like, they don't really have that much detail, and these two don't really, these two don't open, but they still have texture on them, and they still have a lot of detail. And I like that they have a lot of detail. We're just going to look at one of them since they're pretty much identical. But they're really cool. I like this control set up here that looks really cool. And then it has the Stardust insignia or symbol on it. And then it has some Star Wars language on there. I don't know how to read that. Okay, so this one is different than the others. It is not identical. It has more detail, more stuff, and the biggest detail that you would see about this is that it opens up. Yep, that is really, really cool. There's even detail and texture inside of there. And 3 of the Kyber Crystal containers open up, not all of them, only 3 of them. Okay, so when you open it up, this is just awesome. Like, it's like, you can see the Kyber Crystal, and it has paint app on it too. There's so much detail about these. And the container has paint app, it has texture, and it even has a little handle on it. Your figure's hands can't fit in that though. Which is actually kind of sad, but they can only put an amount of detail in it. But the Kyber Crystal is really cool. It has paint up on it, and it's like gold and then yellowish white. And so, yeah, only 3 of those open up, not all of them.
Yeah, that's really cool. That makes, I mean, the way that they designed this, that really makes for a lot of play features in this vehicle.
Yeah.
With all these accessories. So it's really cool. And I mean, you can use these cargo containers for anything. You know, you don't have to use them on the tank all the time because they're removable and you can just do whatever you want to with them.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we're going to take a look at the Vintage Collection Imperial Assault Tank 3.75-inch figure. Now, please note, this figure does not come with the Imperial salt tank. This figure is separate. It did not come with this inside the box. So this figure you have to buy separate. The salt tank does not come with any figures at all. So I gotta give a thumbs down on that, because something like this should come with a figure, I think.
Yeah, I really thought that it was gonna come with a figure, because on the box it has figures inside, and there's a few other pictures that has figures inside.
Okay, and this figure came out in Wave 2 of the Vintage Collection last year, and I believe it came out a little after, like when this came out, you couldn't get any of the figures to belong on it. So this came out, and then they still have not released the Commander figure, so I think that's coming, but it hasn't hit yet, I don't believe. So on the back here we got the Vintage Collection back of the card, which shows. I kind of wish that they would expand this, like, of all the new figures that they've come out with on the Vintage Collection since they started it back last year, because it basically just shows. I mean, these are from Wave 1, and then it shows these four other new figures. I wish it would show all the other ones that they've released.
Also, this is VC 126.
And then they could just take all this stuff. I mean, they need to minimize this stuff. This is just getting out of control, because it's getting more. Every time they do something, this gets a little bit bigger and bigger and takes up more of the space on either the cards or the boxes. And my biggest gripe is with the pill box here, where the name is. You got the Imperial Salt Tank Driver, and then down below you have it in
different language.
Spanish, I believe. Yeah, Spanish. So
you could get a better view of the figure. I mean, of the card back, if they didn't add that other language. Like Dave said, they could have just made another card back for it.
Yeah. So let's move on. Let's get this unboxed. A lot of these Vintage Collections, they weren't glued on properly, so you can just pop off this bubble fairly easy, but this one appears to be pretty solid. I mean,
Exacto knife. Yeah, you should have an Exacto knife only, or other brands that sharpen an Exacto knife, because this cuts plastic really good, and most of our Vintage Collection, or Vintage figure, use a knife like this, because it opens it good and it's hard. That's a pretty good looking figure right there.
Okay, so here we go with the Vintage Collection Assault Tank Driver. Looks really good. Nice dirt wash on him. It gives him that Jetta dirt look. This figure has the Vintage Collection articulation, so got knee joints, ankle swivels, mid-thigh rotation. So really nice.
I'm gonna get into how the gun fits in the hand and everything. So as you can see here, the trigger finger fits in the trigger nicely, and it was actually kind of a snug fit getting the gun into his hand, but I can tell why. You just don't want it to flop out when you're trying to like put it in your collection or something.
And then another point I want to make about this card. This card has a very, very nice picture. You know, the Vintage Collection is known for having very nice pictures of the character or the figure. Unfortunately, the driver, all you see is the top of his head, and you see mostly the Commander, which is basically the same figure, but the Commander has the paint, ranking paint up here on top. But I guess they couldn't find any shots from the movie of the actual driver with his body exposed, I guess. So this is why they probably went with this. But it doesn't really match up with the driver, and all you see is the top of his head.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, we're going to show you how the figure fits in the vehicle. So, Alex, take it away.
So we're, first of all, we're going to take out the gun. You could store it in there or in there. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to lay it off to the side today. And I'm thinking this is going to be a snug fit. I really think it might not get in there as easy as it might look. But let's see. It kind of actually gets in there pretty good. I mean, like, it's kind of hindered by this steering wheel. It's not really wheel, but okay. You can kind of like pull that up and kind of like put them in there. Sorry if my hand's covering that up, but there's not really enough space for his feet to go in there by looking at this, and plus his head is supposed to be bulging out of the front because of this hatch that opens up right there. Just put him in like that.
Okay, it does shut nicely, and the figure does stick out very accurately, so that's very nice. Lastly, we're showing him here in the turret, the command turret, where the commander would stand, and he fits in that that turret very nicely too. And you can put him with his gun when he's in that one. So
yeah, I like the picture too.
All right, in closing, I'm gonna rate this. I'm gonna rate this all together a little bit differently. As far as the packaging, the vintage collection packaging of the Imperial Assault Tank, I'm going to give it thumbs up for the photography and the layout and the vintage collection style packaging, but thumbs down for all the additional writing or the different additional languages and the way that they have this all covered up. I don't like that.
Yeah, me neither.
But the overall package is thumbs up for the photography and design of the vintage collection. The Assault Tank itself is thumbs up, great piece, highly recommend it. Lots of details. They did a great job on this tank. The Assault Tank driver, thumbs up on him. He's a great figure, great dirt wash and details. And the packaging for the figure, same way, same thing. Great looking card, except for all the unnecessary warnings and different languages on there. That's totally unnecessary. The picture it's a good picture from the movie, but it does not show the Assault Tank driver, just the top of his head, and you see the commander up here, which is basically the same figure or same character, just a different paint, but still you don't see the actual driver. So I guess that's the best picture that they could find of a driver from the movie. At least it's not a photoshopped image.
Yeah,
so I have to give them but overall, excellent vintage card for this figure for the Assault Tank driver. Don't like the additional language in the name peel up here. It should just be a Imperial Assault Tank driver. There should not be another language listed there. But overall, excellent card for this figure. And that wraps up my review of this set. Alex, what do you think?
Okay, so on a scale to 1 to 10, I'm basically going to do it the way that Dave did it. He did thumbs up for the packaging, the Assault Tank driver, and the Assault Tank driver packaging. I'm going to do what he did, except I'm going to do my classic scale from 1 to 10. So on a scale to 1 to 10, the packaging of this, I think I would give it a 9.5 out of 10, because it's just all the additional language. I totally agree with you, Dave, about the additional language. I mean, there's so much space and so much more cool stuff that they could add if they just made additional printing like boxes, additional prints for other languages in other regions. I think they should have done that. Me personally, I think that would have been much better, and it would be much better for all countries that would want all these and to collect them. But I give a 9.5 on the box and the packaging for the Assault Tank. Now on to the Assault Tank itself. I give this a 10 out of 10 This is awesome. I really love it. The day I got it and opened it up, I was just like, I am hyped for this. I cannot wait to see what it looks like in the collection. I cannot wait to see what it looks like everywhere and like with the dioramas and stuff. It's gonna look so cool. And so that's why I give the assault tank a 10 out of 10. So now onto the assault tank driver. There isn't really that much to this figure. I mean, it's a detailed figure. I really like it. I think I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 just because of like how it like just pops inside of the tank and how it just looks really cool and stuff. So yeah, that's what especially the dirt wash, like Dave was saying. The dirt wash is awesome. So now I'm packaging a 9.5 out of 10, just like the packaging to the assault tank. So yeah.
Alright, in closing, we're going to give you a real quick tour of this cool diorama that Alex set up of the inspection that's going on with the kyber crystals from Rogue One. We kind of set up like a little inspection scene. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Give us a like and comment down below what you think about the assault tank driver. Alex, take us out.
And before we leave, I just want to give you guys a big reminder of our 100 subscriber giveaway on a awesome Black Series 6-inch Inferno Squad agent from Battlefront 2. Make sure you subscribe. Once we reach 100 subscribers, we'll be giving that away. Whoever wins, you'll be the lucky winner. And so, now I'm going to take it out. Remember, may the Force be with you.